Hi, this is Joseph Anthony of the Wonder Child blog. Thank you so much for stopping by. This is part 8 of a 12-part series in which I'm reading some stories by Laura E. Richards and then having a little talk about them. And this story from The Golden Windows by Laura E. Richards is called The Pit. Though I make my bed in hell. It was dark in the pit. The air was heavy with poisonous vapors. The walls were foul with the slime of uncounted generations. Underfoot was the horror of the ages. Yet still the man slept, for he was used to the place, and his brain sodden with the fumes of it. But by and by, as he slept, a sound crept into his ears, a weary, crying voice that went on and would not still. Till the man stirred uneasily in his sleep and awoke with a sound in his ears. "Who is it," he said, "that breaks my slumber?" He hearkened, and the voice went on crying, "Oh, the blackness and the horror! Oh, the dreadful, dreadful place! Will none help me out?" "What ails you at this place?" asked the man. "One sleeps well enough if folk would be quiet." And the voice went clamoring on, and the piteousness of it might have stirred the dead things underfoot. "Oh, for one breath of God's pure air, for one glimpse of God's good sunshine. Oh, the horror of it! To die in the foul dark, will none help me out?" And then the man looked, for his eyes were used to the murk of the pit, and saw beside him the face of a youth, glimmering white as the dead moon at midday, shining with tears and the sweat of agony. The lad was tearing at the walls, trying to make a way out, but his hand slipped on the slimy stones and he fell back moaning and crying. "Well, here is a great to-do," said the man. "But if it goes so ill with you, I will find a way out, if there be one." And the man rose from the wallow where he lay, and with his strong hands felt along the walls, and found a crack between two great stones, and set his strength to rend them apart. But they clung together like the lips of death. Long he struggled, yet could not stir them. And ever the doleful voice beat like a bell in his ears, till it seemed to him that he must give his life, so but that lad might be free. Suddenly he felt a touch upon him, and in that same moment the stones were suddenly moving under his hand. And looking, he was aware through the glimmering dark of another hand laying on the stone, and of one toiling beside him, striving even as he strove. Then the man set all the strength that was in him, and the great stones crumbled apart, and through the opening the fresh wind blew and the sun shone. Then these two, the man and he who had toiled beside him, lifted the youth between them and brought him out into the open day. And the lad cried out once more, sobbing now for pure joy. He kissed their hands, the hands that had brought him out, and he went singing on his way. But the man stayed and looked on that one who had toiled beside him. "Oh," he said, "it was you." "Who else?" said the other. "But how came you here?" asked the man. The other answered, "I went in with you." I think this is a powerful and somewhat strange story myself, but one of the things that are so amazing about it to me is, of course, we can get used to our prisons, right? So used to them we can sleep in them, in the filth and the grime. Yet, even in that state, we can hear the suffering of others, and when we do, it can rouse us out of our lethargy, out of our own pitiful state. The sound of the boys crying, it broke the guy's heart. It drove him crazy, really. It bothered him. But that said, he still wanted to help him and chose to help him. And it turns out he's pretty strong. He uses his strength. He's even willing to give his life for the youth. Now notice the youth does try to get himself out. He does try. He tears at the wall as best he can. But the one who had been in that prison longer, he really tries. And he finds a crack, right? And as he's working, suddenly there's someone else working with him, right beside him. And this other is so strong that together they're able to crumble the walls of the prison. And together they lift the youth out into the light of day. Together they do it. And the youth is grateful. He kisses their hands, right? And he goes free. He goes singing on his way. And one of the things that I think is so mysterious about this story, the man who originally tried to help, he stays in the prison. And he turns and he looks at the one and he says, "Oh, it was you. Who else? Who is this person that he recognizes?" He went into the pit with him. It's the best way to get someone out of a ditch is really to go in and get him. You understand the pit much better, right? You go in and you help. Now, I like to believe that the man stayed there in part because he knew there would be others to help. But he never worked alone. A mysterious other is there with him. Perhaps a power greater than himself. Whatever it was, he recognized it. And that power went with him into the pit. So, thank you so much for watching part 8. This is Joseph Anthony of the Wonder Child blog, signing off for now.